Jethmalani for more on that. Mr. Jethmalani, thanks very much for speaking to us. First up, would you see this as status quo being maintained or a setback for Uddhav Thackeray?
No, I mean, it's a setback for the other side. They wanted an interim stay. So, and the Supreme Court clearly has rejected that. And they must be disappointed.
Now, has the actual support to Uddhav Thackeray been overlooked by the Election Commission? Because the argument that this is not just about MLAs and MPs and who got how much percentage of vote, it's also about who the cadre supports, who the people who are in the executive committee support, and none of that was taken into consideration by the Election Commission. Did they err in doing that?
No, it hasn't at all. On the contrary, the very foundation of the Election Commission's jurisdiction is that there are two groups of an original political party, each of them claiming to be the real Shiv Sena in this case, right? And both of them claim to be the party. So there is a party cadre with us, and we'll, the ultimate test of that will be in the next by-election when we stand. We'll see what happens in the elections. Many shakas are already with us. So where's the question of anything being ignored? What was ignored was the constitution which was propounded by the other side, by the Uddhav Thackeray group, right? That was ignored because the constitution which they propounded was never submitted. They came out with the constitution of 2018 for the first time, right? On the basis of which the organizational structure has been set out, right? In the 2018 constitution was never submitted to the Election Commission as they are bound to do in law. So the Election Commission said this constitution has never come with us. It has never come to us as is mandatory. That was what was ignored. And therefore, the new constitution of 2018, what it did was, it changed the democratic structure which the Election Commission had earlier ordained and was accepted by the late Balasaheb Thackeray. In 2018, this constitution which they propounded, which never went to the Election Commission, changed that democratic structure and put back the clock and made it an autocratic structure. The autocratic structure being that all appointments to the Rashtriya Karyakarni, the working committee, would be, all appointments to the Pratinidhi Sabha, which is the general body, would be in the hands of Uddhav Thackeray. He would make all the appointments, except for MPs and MLAs, 90% of whom are with us.
No, fair enough, but all of these observations made about changing the constitution, etc., they equally apply to Mr. Shinde, because he was a part of the Shiv Sena at the time when all of these changes were made. So he would be equally culpable in that sense.
Of course, Mr. Eknath Shinde was a part of the Shiv Sena, but one of the main reasons why Eknath Shinde, apart from the ideological dilution by the Uddhav Thackeray group, aligning with enemies, cadres on the ground being extremely upset about this new alliance which they had formed, giving up the old ideology. One of the other grounds which at the very outset was propounded by the Eknath Shinde group for forming a separate group and being the original party was that the constitution had been subverted as well. It's part of the resolution of July 2022 that you have subverted the constitution.
Okay, now a couple of things which were prayed before the Supreme Court. One was that this plea is not maintainable, and
now,
yet. Go on.
Yes. May I just say one more thing? Look, it's not as if discontentment in a party leading to an ultimate parting of ways takes place overnight. After all, Uddhav Thackeray, right, was the pramukh of the party. Right. Now, the dissent, so he has taken a decision. He took the decision to go with the MVA, the other parties in the MVA, right? Now, one sees how it works on the ground. You may not agree with the decision initially, but you give in because he's your party leader, right? You give in. You respect him also because he's the late Balasaheb's son. But when you find out, as they have done in their very first notice which they sent, that 2 ministers have gone to jail for corruption, namely Anil Deshmukh, they're still under investigation and charge sheets are being filed, and Nawab Malik, right? When you find the party cadres are angry and nothing is being done about it, and when you find that the constitution was subverted, in as much as you're no longer democratically a party, then all these issues come up. So you may go with something out of respect for a leader, but ultimately it snowballs into discontent and a split.
Now, the Supreme Court didn't send this case to the